Hey everyone, and welcome into Subaru Park in Chester, Pennsylvania. What better way to celebrate Father's Day than with a showdown of the 8th and 9th place teams in the Eastern Conference as the Philadelphia Union 2 hosts Chicago Fire 2. Philly dropped 3 points here at home on Wednesday to Crown Legacy FC, while Chicago enters tonight unbeaten in their last 3. Thanks for joining us for Matchday 13 of MLS Next Pro. I'm Marissa Pilla. If you're curious how everything is shaping up in the East, look no further than our current Eastern Conference standings. After their 2-0 victory over Philadelphia on Wednesday, Crown Legacy FC still remains the top team in the East, but right on their tails is New England Revolution. Crown Legacy is currently in a scoreless draw with New York Red Bulls 2, and Chicago and Philly separated by only 1 point in the standings. Philly's 4 losses at home, however, is the most by any team in the conference. It's a quick turnaround for both sides tonight as both Philly and Chicago played matches just a few days ago. Philly lost their midweek meeting and Chicago came up victorious at home over Orlando City B. Chicago's last 4 opponents have been the top 4 teams in the East, and the team has gone 2-1-1 during that stretch. It's been a good litmus test for the Fire, said head coach Ludovic Taliander, and hopes that their performances as of late will be a confidence boost going forward. And this is how the home side, Philly Union 2, will be shaping up in their starting 11 for tonight. Lining up in a 5-3-2, the Union are without several of their key young players who were with the U17 side at the MLS Next Cup in Texas. One of those players, Andy Rick. Instead, in net will be Brooks Thompson, making his 4th start of the year. And in the midfield, there's Stefan Stojanovic leading the way, tied with the team for team-high 4 goals this season. On the other side of the field is going to be Chicago Fire 2, a team that is starting to come together as of late. They'll be lining up in a 3-5-2 formation. Andreas Yulin making his 6th start at center back. He was the 2022 ACC Defender of the Year with UVA and is very much the vocal leader of this Fire back line. He'll be keeping the Chicago team settled and organized while also providing service to Alex Monis and Luca Propra up top, who each have 1 goal this year. So things just about getting settled at Subaru Park in Chester, Pennsylvania, as these two sides get ready to meet for the 2nd time this season, and action is underway. This June, MLS Next Pro is happy to celebrate Pride Month and support our LGBTQ fans and community. The beautiful game is for everyone. The Union in their home navy kits and Chicago in their road white kits. Chicago quick to play out of Philly's press. Also quick to be called off sides in that first possession. It's going to be very interesting to see how these two styles of play out in this match because they very much play into one another. Chicago is a team that loves to have possession, dictate the game through a lot of passing and controlling the ball. And that is well and good for Philadelphia because they are the complete opposite. They want their opponents to have possession. They want their opponents to feel comfortable on the ball so they can spring into an attack, turn their opponents over in really dangerous areas, and score on the counter. So they kind of both play hand in hand with one another. We'll see who it benefits more. Philly did get the win the last time these two teams met. Came from a 1-goal deficit to score 2 second-half goals. And that shot on goal goes wide of the net for Philly early on. Egan playing through. Sorensen playing it back. Union with the turnover. Pushing forward is Chris Olney. Just 16 years old, lots of confidence on the ball. His service into the box, cleared away. Reynolds breaks lines. Chicago has runners out wide. Ostrom forced to pass back. Casa switches the field far side. Into the box, runner in, tipped and into the hands of Brooks Thompson. Great service into the box, and Ostrom able to get the tip of his boot on this one, but Brooks Thomas gets in the right position, makes sure he cuts off those angles, his first save of the night. Only on the ball. Runners in the box. Low cross, blocked. Sanchez plays it back. Another service blocked from Chicago. It's going to stay with the Union. Juan Castillo has a long throw and decides to go short. Sorensen settles. Into the box, shot, save. Nice last possession by Philly, a good shot. Looks like it gets deflected through the 18, and Miha Miskovic able to get a deflection on it as well. Sorensen on the throw for Philly. Philly bringing it through the midfield. Playing into space, trying to get his runner in around that defensive line, blocked away from Chicago. Shot, save. Chris Olney brings it into the 18 and forces Miskovic into another save early on. Direct ball through the middle from Chicago, broken up by Union defense. Ostrom played back to Rochester. Through the legs of Sorensen, but no runners making in that run in behind. It'll dribble out for a Union goal kick. We're just learning now that defender Gino Portello for the Philadelphia Union got injured during warm-ups. In his place is Nathan Nakanji, taking that place as a center back. Speaking with Chicago head coach Ludovic Talliander this week, he said this team style is made up in 3 parts, box to box, wanting to have numbers attacking and defending a lot, possession heavy, controlling the match through that possession, and also pressing. They want to make sure that they're pressing all the way to the keeper and win the ball back quickly when they are out of possession. Castillo gets tripped up on the sideline. And it's going to be a Union free kick here. Juan Castillo slow to get back on his feet, hobbling a bit, the 20-year-old defender out of Venezuela. Looks like he gets tripped up a bit from the back, but able to get this ball back into play for Philly. Long service at the top of the 18, headed away. Stojanovic falls to Sorensen, back to Stojanovic, dribbles into the 18, and this one is all Chicago. Egan looking to play direct up top. He has Fleming. Runners trailing behind is Perpa, but broken up from Philly. Diallo looks to go forward and push. Only on the ball over the top. And these aerial duels is something that Chicago really wants to hone in on and succeed in winning today. As Sorensen with a quick step gets around his defender. Sorensen on the ball, shot blocked. Union looked like they might be a little upset, maybe calling for a handball, seeing something we didn't. But Anton Sorensen with a good job controlling that ball through a congested midfield and taking that open shot that he saw at the top of the 18. Anton Sorensen known for his ability to bring the ball forward, and it does look like it hits the arm, the shoulder area of Andreas Yulin on Chicago's back line. Ref didn't see anything too egregious there as play continues, but Anton Sorensen known for his ability to get forward, create things on the attack, as well as tracking back, a really smart defensive player as well. Galena. Back to Egan, and Yulin settles. Union turn it over. Stojanovic trying to move in space. Broken up, but it falls to Olney, who has Sanchez coming in. Defenders on. Cuts through, but unable to stay with it. With lots of time and space in the midfield, taking advantage of all that real estate Union is giving them. Ostrom on the ball, and the offsides flag goes up. A little too much time and space for Chicago. But Philly's shape got a little stretched there when Chicago decided to switch the field. Thompson unable to get play started from that free kick and turns the ball over to Chicago. Charlie Ostrom with the throw in through the middle. Link up play with Galena, broken up, played back to Thompson. Luciano Sanchez able to draw the foul against Chicago right about midfield. The 18-year-old forward out of Wantage, New Jersey, is committed to playing at Rutgers in the fall. The experience here in MLS Next Pro certainly going to be helpful for him as he goes on to his college career. Service into the box, headed away from Chicago. Sorensen, Diallo with pressure. Rojas looking for Castillo. Link up play between he and Pierre, falls right to the corner, is able to save it in, sets it a little. Trying to nutmeg his defender there, instead draws the corner. So still a good opportunity for Philly. CJ Olney approaches the corner to take for Philly. Olney with the service. Low through the middle, jumbled a bit, broken up, and this one is going to be a Chicago goal kick. Rochester down the sideline. Plays it through over the top of Nakanji. Monis had lots of time, beat his defender, but again, drawn off sides. Chicago's doing a good job of playing that direct ball over the Union's back line, but just hasn't quite gotten the timing and the space down yet because they've been called off sides just a few times. If they're able to get that timing just right, they have great opportunities to go goal to goal, beat their one-on-one defenders, and make a lot of great attempts and ask a lot of questions of Brooks Thompson in net for Philly. Sorensen, long throw. Chicago recovers. Stojanovic through the middle, looking to link up with Pierre. Good read from Yulin. Reynolds with pace going forward, gets around the defender Legunek there to clean up that first touch. Chicago recycling play now through the back line as Union defense gets settled. Monis unable to keep it in on the end line, or Ostrom unable to keep it in on the touch line. So Philly takes over on this throw. Direct ball over the top. Miskovic comes off his line and pick it up. Doesn't allow the Philly to take advantage of that direct ball dropping in on that back line. Egan with the long ball service. Looking for Monas. He has his keeper. He chips him, and it's in the net. Alex Monas gets Chicago Fire on the board 1-0 in the 18th minute. Alex Monas, a 20-year-old midfielder. That's his second goal this season, and that's the timing of the direct ball. He's able to settle this bouncing ball so perfectly, get the right touch. He sees Brooke Thompson off his line, picks out the right position, and he has reason to celebrate. Why wouldn't he? His second goal this season gets Chicago up 1-0.
Chicago Fire 2 goals scored by number 38, Alex Monas. That goal was scored in the 18th minute.
Chicago the first to find the back of the net with that direct play over the top, seeing an opportunity of spaces that Philly was making on their back line, really stretching their center backs. Although they're playing with 5 in the back, there was a lot of space in those seams that Chicago was able to exploit with that long ball. Diallo on the ball for Philly, pushes it out wide to Castillo. Olney tries the overlap, attempts to turn around his defender, he draws the throw in. Castillo beats one defender and shot, never had a chance on frame. Bad first touch there from Galena, turns the ball over for the Union. Sanchez gets on it, picks his head up, overlaps with Sorensen, pushed out of bounds. And it'll be a Union Chicago throw. Although the Union weren't able to make too much happen on that last bit of possession, it was a good example of how they read these errant passes from their opponents and try to spring into action as quickly as possible. If they can continue to turn their opponents over in these dangerous areas, string better passes and connect better into the 18, they can then really start to ask a lot of questions of Chicago. Good overlap there from Chicago. Out wide, across through the box. Thompson comes in to sweep it up. Sorensen was also there if he needed to make the clearance as Ostrom was making the run. This portion of the match is brought to you by Subaru of America. Ostrom switches the field to Fleming. Reynolds inside the box, shot deflected. Galena trying to save this one. Doesn't have the pace to do so. And Castillo comes up for the next Union throw. Started this game already reminiscent of how their last meeting between Philly and Chicago played out. Chicago went up early, but Philly answered back with 2 second-half goals, and Chicago is 2-1-1 on the road when scoring first. Ostrom, Thompson there. Only with the heel flick, but no one running on to make anything really exciting of that opportunity. Chicago doing a good job of staying calm under the Union's press. And you can see whenever Chicago gets possession out wide, that's when the Union really are trying to collapse on those passing channels. But Chicago, by moving the ball as effectively as they have been, at least in their defensive half, they're really opening up Philly, giving themselves a lot of space to work with. Rochester and Ostrom licking up on that sideline. And play is called dead way back behind. Looks like Casas, Javier Casas Jr., slow to get up. Didn't see quite what happened in the run of play. And really holding that right shoulder a bit. Thompson plays it out. Kanji falls in that collision against Monis. No harm, no foul, but he does draw a free kick for Philly. Nathan Kanji and Alex Monis just get tripped up just a little bit as they're both running on the same path. Their ankles get a little crossed. No malintent there. Casas settles, looks out wide to Reynolds. Galena through the middle. Union collapse on him. Diallo plays it back. Thompson sends it forward. Perpa in possession, looking for runners. Instead, he finds a lot of Union players following him on that ball. Overlap to Fleming. Cross inside the box, broken up by Kanji. And Castillo looks forward to play the long ball over top. Too much on that. Falls right to the feet of Miskovic. So Chicago's sitting at 9th in the Eastern Conference with a 4-5-4 record, but head coach Ludovic Taliander said he believes that they play much better than what their record or what the standings would indicate. He told his team that they're one of the highest ranked teams in terms of expected goals, so they create a lot of chances. They're just not quite finishing them as a cross comes through the middle. Union break it up. So Taliander happy with the chances the team is creating, but knows that finishing piece is always the hardest piece in soccer to make sure that they're able to be clinical in the final third. Ball out wide, service on the ground, broken up with the runners in. Perpa regains it, a shot, far post. Ostrom chases it down, has a defender to beat. Sorensen able to come away with this. They get tangled up a bit. Ostrom cut off, and Union cleared away. Rochester takes his time. Galena on the ball. Diallo dispossesses, and Castillo looks up, tries that direct ball again. He has Sanchez. It's a foot race, but it actually is going to go out of bounds. Chicago takes over on the throw. This portion of the match is brought to you by WSFS Bank. Reynolds through the middle. And lots of space on this near end line. Chicago really pulling and stretching Philly, creating a lot of space when they switch the point. Yulin looks far end line to Reynolds. Unable to trap it, but a good idea from Andres Yulin, the Norwegian defender. The Union, game in and game out, are typically one of the youngest teams in the league, and head coach Marlon LeBlanc said that is absolutely no excuse. He does not let his players use that as an excuse of, oh, we're young, we're learning. He said, if you can play, you're old enough to be out there, and he really credits his young team for being able to hang into a lot of these matches where they are out-aged position by several years. So he gives his team a lot of credit for playing against older teams, but says it is by no means an excuse for not performing well. Sorensen wrapped up a bit. And the ref is having a little talk with Charlie Ostrom, just to let him be mindful of, I'm watching you, bud. Ostrom scored the lone goal against Orlando City B in their matchup on Thursday, which concluded Chicago's stretch of playing 4 games against the top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. So they really put themselves to the test, and head coach Ludovic Taliander said his team very much felt like those teams aren't that much better than us. They really had a sense of belief that they can hang with some of the best teams in the conference, and he wants that confidence to really start to build and compound as the team pushes forward into the later half of the season. Egan Lots of time. Finds Reynolds out wide. He has the overlap coming. Plays back instead. Perpa. Now Rochester with space has Ostrom for a 1-2. Good read from Philly's defense. Messy little pass, but a play back to Brooks Thompson settles things a bit. Chicago staying with it. Reynolds chasing this down. A one-touch and cross headed away. Olney on the ball for Philly. Had Pierre, but finds Sanchez, who's taking on his defender. Almost had Rochester beat, but a good play from Rochester there to stay with it, even though Sanchez has really crafty moves on the ball. Long ball over the top, and another offsides for Chicago, but again, beating Philly in that play where they see their defense spread apart, maybe pulling a little bit high. Chicago has been very smart with knowing when to play that direct ball over the top. The timing, again, worked out on that first goal, but needs to continue to be accurate for them to keep asking so many questions of Philly. Sanchez with the press, trying to dispossess Chicago. They keep it in possession, but definitely a little bit of a sloppy play. Through ball, offsides again. Chicago takes over on a free kick. Yulin out wide to Rochester. 1-2 back and forth, a turn under pressure. Ostrom. Egan, a bad pass through the middle, and it's Diallo who's looking for Sanchez, but didn't find him in that half space. So Chicago can push forward now as the Union try to regain their defensive shape. Reynolds out wide. Numbers coming through for Chicago. Far post, Kanji heads it away. Ostrom's still there though, and it falls to Casas. Now the Union in transition. Luciano Sanchez had his runner going forward. Didn't make that pass though. Chris Olney making a good run in space. And another direct ball over the top, and another offsides flag for Chicago. Chicago got on the board early on, the 18th minute, goal scored by midfielder Alex Monis, his second of the season. And they were able to find the back of the net because Monis linked up with a great direct ball over the top. The timing was perfect, the touch was perfect. Brooks Thompson came off his line a little too much for Philly Union, and he left a big space behind, and Monis took advantage. Chicago now with momentum forward. Ball. Union play this back in. Looking for the runners down the field. Chicago settling a messy play of possession. Legunek taking his time to settle. Looks to Castillo out wide, but good pressure from Chicago, and they're able to draw a throw in.
Chicago
Javier Casas having a hard time, and Chicago has to turn to their bench really early on in this first half. Javier Casas Jr. is going to leave, and entering the field is going to be Victor Becerra, the 23-year-old forward. Becerra, a local Chicago product. This portion of the match is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Chicago now in the 18, outside the box. Service far post blocked. Falls to Chicago, shot again, deflected. Again on frame, and the Union headed out. Good defensive play from Philadelphia, but great consistent presser from Chicago. Several really good looks on net for the Fire. Right inside the 18, Ostrom out wide looked like the intended target, but Thompson comes up big. A shot is deflected again from the back line, and it finally falls to Ostrom. Looked like he was trying to service the far post, but the runners weren't quite timed on the right. Chicago corner now, service in. And no threat there from the Fire. Thompson sends it back in for Philly. Hewlin settles for Chicago. Chicago moving well between Philly's press. Egan to Reynolds down the line. Reynolds has lots of runners coming through. He had Ostrom right there at the spot, just didn't get the timing quite synchronized. Becerra, service deflected out. Olney now on the ball for Philly. His defenders chasing him, and his through ball is going to be a foot race, but Egan wins that one. Ostrom, Hewlin, I'm sorry, trying to break it up. He does so. Pierre unable to get control of the ball. Galena pass gets to Becerra. Puts his head down, looks to the cross, and Philly deflects out. Egan and Yulin passing back and forth, trying to get out of Philly's press from Pierre. Yulin. Chicago definitely looked very comfortable in possession. Not a team that's trying to force a pass or force something to happen. They're fine with taking their time because it opens up space like this. Rochester going forward. He has play inside the box. He had a wide open player right at the top of the 18. Good read from Philly's defense. Trying to turn that defense into offense for the Union. Instead falls to Yulin. And we know we're going to have just about a minute of stoppage time here in this first half.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official on the sideline has indicated there will be a minute added time to our first half.
Miha Miskovic getting some touches on the ball. Hasn't been under pressure too much from Philly so far. Ref having some words here. Keeping everything under control. It's been a pretty mild first half between the Chicago Fire and Philly Union 2. Chicago connecting on their long passes across the back line. And that is the half at Subaru Park. Our score at halftime, 1-0 Chicago Fire 2, having the lead. The goal scored by Alex Monis in the 18th minute of play. And Chicago has done a good job of keeping that possession, keeping true to their style as they prefer, and the Union scoreless in this first half. Major League Soccer and RCX Sports have launched MLS Go, a groundbreaking recreational soccer program. Boys and girls aged 4 to 14 can now experience a fun, affordable, and local soccer journey. This fall, MLS Go debuts in 18 markets, expanding access to the sport. You can go to mlsgo.com for more information. We have highlights and stats from our first half coming up, but first, Michelle and Samara take us through Matchday 12 with this week's edition of Matchday Rewind.
MLS Next Pro's Matchday 12 kicked off Thursday alongside Messi Mania. Alongside Samara, I'm Michelle here with the biggest moments from the week.
The Messi effect definitely had a positive impact on our Inter Miami 2 boys. The team's Instagram follower count skyrocketed since Messi's move to MLS was reported. And it seems that the news also inspired Federico Higuain's squad, who went unbeaten this weekend with a 3-1 victory over FC Cincinnati 2 and a 1-1 draw against TFC 2. The Herons continue racking up points and followers.
And the craziness of the week carried on over into Huntsville. Jonathan Bolaños with a goal just 9 seconds into their match. Now, you might think that's the fastest goal in league history, but actually it ties Crew 2's Marco Micheletto for fastest. And afterwards, Jack Collison was just really proud of the way his team responded, especially after last week.
And then disappointing to concede 2 poor goals again, but a big part about this group is development. We talk about development a lot and learning from mistakes from last week, not to go behind even further. And we're coming at half time and we knew we were really in the game. I said to them, "Do you feel like we can win the game?" And they all said yes.
Also finding the back of the net in Huntsville City FC's 4-2 win over St. Louis City 2, Adam Seapeach. At just 18 years old, the forward became the first Nashville SC Academy player to start and score for the organization. In turn, he was rewarded with a first team contract as the club's first ever homegrown player.
Speaking of prices, NYCFC 2's Piero Elias scored one of his own. The midfielder's first goals of the season led his team to a 3-1 victory against city rivals Red Bulls 2. With the win, Matt Pilkington's side evened this year's Hudson River Derby series and is now rolling on 4 straight wins. The boys in blue also reached 24 goals on the season to position themselves as the top 4 best offense in the East.
And the streaks just continue. Rapids 2 extending their unbeaten streak to 12 in a row thanks to a 1-0 win over LAFC 2 over the weekend. If you had to guess who the lone goal came from, and you guessed Yosuke Hanya, yeah, you would be correct. He was absolutely swarmed by defenders and still managed to find the back of the net off of his left foot. He's now up to 9 goals on the season, still good for first place in the Golden Boot standings.
We're inching closer to the halfway point of the season, so the competition is getting more fierce. Michelle and I will see you back here with the top moments from Match Day 13.
A live look here at Subaru Park as Chicago Fire have a 1-0 lead at half over the Philadelphia Union. The focus of the best of Week 12 is next as Michelle has the spotlight.
Another match day spread across 4 days of action calls for a lot of standout performances. I'm Michelle with MLS Next Pro, bringing you your Match Day 12 players in the spotlight. Starting us off is your rising star of Match Day 12. It is none other than Union 2's Christopher Onley Jr. The 16-year-old scored the lone goal in Union 2's match against Atlanta United 2 to hand his team their second win in their last 3 games. The goal marked his 3rd on the season to go with his 3 assists so far. On top of this honor, his impact all over the field also secured him Man of the Match honors. The MLS Next Pro player of Matchday 12 with a similarly impressive performance to last week's honoree. This week it is Huntsville City FC's Kemi Amici, who netted 2 goals just 3 minutes apart. The midfielder's brace, alongside his single assist, accounted for 3 of the team's 4 goals. That helped HCFC mount the 4-2 comeback needed to secure just their 2nd win of the season. His impact coming in as a substitute in the 31st minute proved the difference in this one. Now, as for the best goal of Matchday 12, there were certainly a lot of stunners to choose from, but this one has to go to LA Galaxy 2's Alex Alcala. The forward with a quick pass, then pointing to the exact spot of where he wanted the ball, Amadine with the perfect assist and the ball through traffic, finding the back of the net. Alcala earned exactly 50% of the vote for best goal across all matches. Rounding out the Matchday 12 honorees, your team in the spotlight is Orlando City B. Their 4-goal shutout over FC Cincinnati 2 featured 4 different young Lions finding the back of the net. Jack Lynn got the scoring started with his 7th goal of the season, while Captain Juninho netted a free kick, earning him a nomination for Best Goal of the Week. While he didn't walk away with that honor, his team did earn this one while extending their unbeaten streak at home this season in the process. Another big week of action coming up, 21 games across match day 13. We'll see you right back here next week for Who's in the Spotlight.
There was tons of action in MLS Next Pro, and all but one match this week was decided by more than one goal. Let's take a look back at a wild week in MLS Next Pro.
David Paraba, the captain, scoring the lone goal for Crown Legacy FC 2 weeks ago. Looking to continue his momentum, 2 goals and 2 assists on the year. And Yuri Tavares, the left winger, in the center circle. Now flipping it back out. Headed away is Lapkus. And now an open net. Oh! Taken away by Roberts. On the far side, chance for an equalizer, off of it, and a goal! Long pass, atop the arc, Fushan kicks out, fires, goal! Filipovic went down, and that's gonna do it. Columbus Crew 2, a 2-1 win.
Time to take a look at the starting 11. First for Kenny Bundy's group, and he talked about how his team had a very professional performance. Shannon Murray said that he's had this group consistently the last couple weeks, and he has Ryan Bilichuk in net. It will be Yair Gonzalez off of the post into the net. Ikoba past the defender. Tega Ikoba! Monzon to put Portland ahead. He's pure on it. Here's your final chance. Into the box. Headed off Ray. Murata was open. There's your final whistle. Timbers 2 makes it 4 consecutive wins.
Starts Jacob Castro in goal, just his 2nd appearance of the year. Elias Katsaros, Hal Uderitz. How about Alenis Vargas with some space and speed? Alenis Vargas puts it in front, it's knocked down. Ball is loose, they score! Big opportunity generated in the early moments by Tacoma. Rodriguez. Bradilio Rodriguez to his left foot, cross in front, and it's in! Didn't happen for them last week against San Jose. Can they make it happen tonight? Herrera. Saved by Polskamp. 2-2 after 3 rounds. Ozzy Cisneros now had the first goal this evening for Kansas City. And Cisneros converts. And again, a must-score situation for Tacoma.
A native of Pickering, Canada, a 29-year-old between the pipes for the home team tonight. Nick Law, 35 years old in the middle. You heard that right. Bolaños crosses, kicked in, goal! Joe Ash calls for it in the middle. Cross track, there it is! 3rd time the charm. Moments away from Huntsville's first ever road win. Jesus Batis. Long goal from the left side. That stings for Huntsville. Probably not going to affect the outcome. It does not. It's a final.
To Steve Cook, this will be his starting 11. Getting his first start of the season will be Justin Roberts. Roberts, nice ball forward, tipped up, and this is going to be put in for the opening goal of the game. Toronto, that one also will be kicking at 7 p.m. Eastern. Firmino from long range, oh, Burr corner! Gannon, Fuson, crossing it back, the shot, oh, and it finds the corner! It's Brent Anujofi! Morales sends it up and over, and now another chance for Columbus to close it out. Gannon, the strike, and he gets it by Garces, and Columbus will take 2 points at home as they win in the penalty shootout by a score of 6-5.
Couple of changes. Jared Salazar will play in the midfield. Teo Enrique as well as Yekar Perlaza in the starting 11. The visitors will come out in a 4-2-3-1 as well. It may look like a 4-4-2 at times because this is a group dealing with a number of personnel changes. 8 changes specifically from their starting 11 last week. Vargas did a great job of looking to break lines and take advantage in transition. Then it was a well-slotted ball, just unfortunately a little too far in front to where Ochoa was able to collect. And another chance off the post! Still not out of pressure, or Quakes too, as that one goes over the end line for a corner kick. Now here comes San Jose. Wende Jr. in transition. Down into the left corner. Sends a ball across. Shot on goal. Back on the attack. Shot blocked. Pondeka looking to break through.
So that's a look at what did happen, but let's take a look at what could happen with our upcoming schedule for the next week ahead in MLS Next Pro. Tonight is one of 11 matches happening around the league. Here's what it's going to look like further in the week. A few weeknight matches sprinkled between Thursday and Friday, but the majority of the action is taking place Sunday, one of which is a meeting between one of the top teams in the league, Colorado Rapids, against one of the bottom teams, LA Galaxy 2. That game happening 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. It's a 1-0 scoreline here at Subaru Park in favor of Chicago Fire 2. So let's take you back to that first 45 minutes of action with our first half highlights. So everything getting started here on a beautiful Father's Day Sunday in Chester, Pennsylvania. Chicago putting a lot of pressure on Philly Union at first. They had great timing on a lot of direct balls over the top of the back line. The Union asked a few questions of Chicago, but not too much. This was really a game that Chicago controlled going forward. Chris Olney, however, from the Philadelphia Union, continues to find himself in good moments inside the 18. This is the long ball that led to the first goal by Alex Moniz. Great timing, a great ball back from Egan on the back line, finds Alex Moniz in stride, good control, good heads-up play, and he finds Brooke Thompson way off of his line and able to slot this one in behind it as well. And it's really been the theme for Chicago in this first half, is getting in behind Union's defense, getting these crosses through the 18 as well. They started linking up a lot more in the end of the first half, getting numbers inside the box, asking a lot of questions, and putting a lot of shots on goal. So 1-0 scoreline in favor of Chicago Fire 2, a team that loves to have possession, and they've been doing a good job of making that possession purposeful, which is something a lot of these coaches talk about in this league. Is it's great to have possession, but make sure that possession has a purpose. Chicago has been using that purpose to move Philly around, create space going forward, but also settle down and get themselves back into a rhythm on the ball. The second half now is underway.
Number 48, Charlie Holstrom, along with number 36, Justin Reynolds. Entering the match, number 51, Michael Flores, along with number 35, Sergio Oriel Jr. These substitutions occurred at halftime.
So Chicago making a couple substitutions at halftime. Orahel coming in for Ostrom. Chicago again on the direct ball with pressure. Runners in, shot in! Back of the net for Chicago. And they extend their lead to 2-0. Substitute Sergio Orahel scoring his first goal of the season gets Chicago up 2-0. Another direct ball over the top. Pings around outside from Becerra, and then Orahel, great place inside that 18. And an early goal to extend Chicago's lead in the second half. Union now going forward. Pierre on the ball. Shot. Pushed way out. Fleming plays it back. Galena through the middle, trying to connect with Perpa. He has to play it back, and they switch the point. Orahel into the box, headed away. Union with a little bit of pace now from Nelson Pierre. Pierre, 1v1 with his defender. Goes across the box and no one's there to tap it in, but did a great job of beating his defender, who was showing him the end line there, giving him the space to goal. Pierre able to get around Egan, slots this one right across the 6, and he had runners there from Sanchez and Stojanovic, but not quite making that direct run onto net. Going to be a Philly Union corner, an opportunity for them to put a shot on target. So far the Union only had 2 shots on goal, opposed to Chicago's 5. Here comes the service. High arching ball. Union get ahead of it, but bobbles around inside the 18, falls back to Olney. Olney again, blocked away. Chicago takes over possession. Egan, lots of time, plays it back to Yulin. Yulin goes over the top, far side, hits Fleming, who has runners inside the middle. And a yellow card is shown to Nakanji. Nathan Nakanji getting shown a yellow in the 52nd minute as Chicago draws a set piece from a pretty dangerous area, a couple yards outside the 18.
Has been issued to Union 2's number 75, Nathan Nakanji. A caution occurred in the 52nd minute.
Right there, you can see the little step in from Kanji, just a little too late. Chicago sets up an opportunity now with 3 players over the ball. Options to take this one as the Union set up their 4-man wall. Service in low, hits their own player. Chicago having to settle themselves on the back line. Plays back to Ulam, to Egan. Runner in behind, and Brooks Thompson comes up to the top of the 18 to take over. Thrown from Chicago. Union going forward. Olney at the top of the 18. Dances around his defender. Gets on his left foot across the box, shot in! Luciano Sanchez, great timing. It gets the Union on the board. Union trail now just 2-1. Luciano Sanchez, just his 2nd goal of the season. Puts Philly Union on the board. Chris Olney doing a great job taking his defender on, creates enough space, and you don't see him in frame at first, but then Sanchez comes running in far post, links up perfectly. A great time to run by Luciano Sanchez. Able to get the Union to cut their deficit in half.
The assist, number 56, C.J. Olney. Goal scored in the 55th minute.
Good link-up play from Chicago and a great defensive slide to break up that pressure from Philly.
Union 2 first substitution. Leaving the match, number 75, Nathan Nkanji. Entering the match, number 32, Jose Riasco.
Jose Riasco taking the place of Nathan Akanji. Union with the free kick. Sends it in and falls right inside the box. Service through the middle, broken up. Union stay with it. Long cross, headed over the crossbar. Jose Riasco in a great position near post for Philly. A great ball in over the top, and Riasco just got behind his defender. A last-ditch effort from Chicago pushes and bodies his ball over the crossbar. So Philly Union corner, nobody in close to the goal, but here comes the service, far post, and a diving effort from Miha Miskovic to control this for Chicago, and he's quick with the restart, see his runners down the field. Falls to the feet of Monis, who's waiting for his runners to come back, and Chicago gets settled. Pressure from Philly, Chicago plays out, looking downfield, and it stays Chicago throw-in. Fleming with the throw-in. Fleming plays it back to Egan, picks his head up, switches the field. He's able to make contact, and runners staying with it. Here comes more Chicago coming into the box. A shot, far post, and it's in. Victor Becerra, he gets his first goal of the season. Chicago's up 3-1. Great switch of the attack for Chicago, and they open up so much. Look how much space is between Philly's defense. And then there comes Becerra, and his first touch is a really good one to get around Legonek, and he just slots this one right past Brooks Thomas. He had that far low corner, and he put it right in the back of the net. Money in the bank for Victor Becerra. So just when Philly cut their deficit in half, Chicago answers back to get a 2-goal lead in the second half. Castillo. This portion of the match is brought to you by Bimbo Bakeries USA. And the ref is motioning to the sideline for the training staff, pointing to his head that there could be a potential head injury or at least contact with their head. pointing to his nose and teeth area as they're taking a look. Here's what happened on that play. Looks maybe on the follow through, he got hit in the mouth a bit. Enough for the training staff to want to take a look. Looking at his jaw, his teeth, and luckily it doesn't look too bad for Henrique Galina. He will have to make his way to the sideline because he did get attended to by the training staff and be subbed back on, let back on by the officials, as everyone else takes this moment to have a bit of a water break. Chicago being deliberate on their restart, taking their time. Miskovic plays it out, and it's Perpa on this near end line. Playing it through the middle, connects through. Had Fleming at the top of the 18, Union able to dispossess and push forward, but Chicago regains possession. Balling over the top for Chicago. Legunek trying to cut it off, and he does that, pushes it out as he had pressure coming in from Flores. Diallo plays back to Thompson. Falls to Sanchez. He is only going forward, gets around his defender. Shot hits the crossbar. CJ Olney. Pierre at the top of the 18. You can hear fans in the stands saying, do it again. If only it was that simple. But Union had a good bout of possession there in transition. That is when they're the most dangerous, when they're able to link up play in transition, catch the opposition defense off guard. Luciano Sanchez heads this perfectly into space with Olney, and he's able to get around his defender. And what placement, just a couple inches lower, and that's in the back of the net. CJ Olney has been so impressive at just 16 years old. His poise, his confidence on the ball. He's really developing as a strong attacking piece for the Philly Union too. Castillo, low shot, dribbles into the 18 and out. Chicago pushes out wide. Fleming under pressure. Back to Egan, and Olney putting pressure on Chicago's defense. Perpa through the midfield. Back to Rochester. Newland trying to play direct over the top. He had Fleming who heads on. Monis making a run, but a great defensive read from Philly, able to break that up. Monis on the ball, falls to Becerra. Chips it into the box, and Brooks Thompson comes up to scoop it up. Olney on the ball. Pushes it through to Riasco. Had a couple options there right outside the 18, but none of those connected. Through ball for Chicago coming in around their defense. Runner inside the 18. Monis was open at the 18, but pass was broken up. Orahel looking to connect. Falls back to Miskovic. Yulin and Egan taking their time to settle their teammates forward. Galena out wide. Chicago coming in from the wing. Anton Sorensen trying to break it up. Instead, he trips up Chicago's player, and the ref is pointing to the spot. It's going to be a penalty kick for Chicago. With Flores drawing the foul out wide. Anton Sorensen trying to stay with Flores here, and he's late to stick his leg out and try to make that a defensive move. Instead, draws a bad foul for Philly and puts him in a tough spot. Brooks Thompson has to face his third PK of the season. He's 0 for 2 with PKs. Victor Pizzera ready. He already has a goal. Make it 2. Chicago up 4-1 in the second half. Victor Pizzera with a penalty kick goal. And that is his second of the game.
Chicago goal scored by number 33.
So here's the foul Flores is able to draw right at the corner of the 18 with Sorensen. He hangs his head. He can't believe that he caught that. And then Victor Pizzera punches it into the back of the net. A brace on the night for Pizzera. Chicago now with a 3-goal lead. The Union looked to cut their deficit in half early on in the first half, but now 2 unanswered goals from Chicago, and they are still in control possession-wise, which is where they like to be. Ball through the middle. Shot, goal! Another quick goal for Chicago Fire. Sergio Orahel, he gets his second goal of the night. And now Chicago is up 5-1.
Chicago goal scored by number 35, Sergio Orahel Jr. Goal scorer in the second.
Sergio Orahel makes a great run, gets right in behind the Union's defense, beats Rojas, and then beats Brooks Thompson, which means he gets a brace on the night too. Chicago now up 5-1 in the second half. So Chicago, a team that likes to have possession, doesn't matter how quickly they're moving, but when they are moving at a fast pace, they're able to create so much space, able to get the runners in behind and find those little pockets and mistakes that the Union defense is making, just miscommunications along the back line to put the runners in good position. Fleming with time, cuts around. Pulled down. And Chicago gets a free kick in their attacking half. Five goals here scored tonight by Chicago, the most they have scored all season long. Chicago playing back to the keeper, under pressure from Philly. Ball bobbled around a bit, and eventually it's called in Philly's favor. But before the restart can happen, Chicago is making another substitution. Leaving the match is Alex Monis, who got the goal scoring started for Chicago way back in the first half. And entering the match is Michael Nesci. Service into the box from Union. Miskovic comes out very boldly, but he's able to retain it. And it looks like Yulin is down for Chicago. Able to get to his feet, but does so a little slowly. Olney at the top of the box, a shot deflected from Chicago's back line, and Egan is happy to see that didn't find the back of his own net. Will be a Union corner. Chris Olney again with time on top of the box, and you can see Egan's in a good position, but it skims it inside of his leg, and sense of relief coming off of his face knowing he didn't by accident put that back behind his own keeper. Olney on the corner. Service in, header, it's in! Boubacar Diallo able to find the back of the net for Philly. It's 2-5. Boubacar Diallo, his first goal of the season. He's able to get his body ahead over of his defender. Heads it into the back of the net.
Union 2 goals.
The Union now trail 2-5. before this game, Chicago Fire head coach Ludovic Taliander talked about how this team is one of the top teams in terms of expected goals. Just didn't find that connection. 5 goals tonight. Safe to say they found the connection in Philly. And another set piece for Chicago right outside the 18. Here's a foul that's drawn right at the top of the box. Stojanovic is the one who trips up. Chicago right outside. Perpa on frame, goes over the crossbar.
Chicago substitution, leaving the match, number 43, Noah Egan. Entering the match, number 50,
Egan leaving the match.
Substitution occurs in the 79th minute.
For Chicago, Eric Leonard checking in. This portion of the match is brought to you by Subaru of America. Union throw. Riasco through the middle. Sanchez was in the box, just not right in the right positioning. Castillo. Sanchez shot, sails way back into the stands. Chicago playing through Philly's press. Fleming on the ball, through ball, inside shot, save, pushed out to Flores. A looping run in from Chicago. From Becerra. Ball dribbles out for a Union goal kick. A great run in behind. And an awesome save from Brooks Thompson, makes himself really big and diving to push it out. Chicago able to dispossess CJ Olney going forward. And Neshi battling it out on the near sideline, connects through the middle. Chicago with momentum. Fleming passes it back. Leonard on the ball to Hewlin. Back to Galena. Rochester beats one defender, finds Orahel. Purpa, space through the midfield. He has runners up top, but he gets broken up by Legunek. And another Chicago set piece and another yellow card for a Union defender. Hugo Legunek getting a yellow in the 83rd minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, the yellow card caution has been issued to Union 2's number 40, Hugo Legunek. That caution occurred in the 83rd minute.
Chicago setting up for this free kick. Two players over the ball. They decide to play it short out wide. Overlapping run, service into the middle, and it goes out. This portion of the match is brought to you by WSFS Bank. Union playing it back to Brooks Thompson with Neshi putting a lot of pressure on their back line. Brooks Thompson will get it back into play for Philly. As possession bobbles around a bit, right around the center circle. This is a bit of possession that Chicago head coach Ludovic Talliander said he wants his team to win consistently. Those aerial duels, the second balls, knowing that they can be the difference maker in terms of getting momentum to go forward. Because when everybody collapses to win those aerial duels, there's definitely space in behind. Diallo on the ball, draws the foul. Union will get the restart. And he goes short to Sanchez. Finds Olney out wide, and he has Castillo with the overlap. Decides to take a minute, play back. Thompson with the long ball. A little too long, as it's a keeper-to-keeper play. Chicago sustaining the pressure, sustaining the Union's press. Pierre's looks like to be the first line of the press for the Union. As soon as he presses, it looks like that second line is starting to add that pressure, but Chicago playing out of it really well. Fleming controls. Purpa. Purpa continues his run into the box, but his pass is broken up. Chicago typically fine with having possession. This is how they like to play. They feel that the only way they can control the game is if they have the ball the majority of the game, which stands to make a lot of sense reasonably. Philly Union, on the other hand, like their opponents to have possession. Always trying to catch their opponents in a moment of transition and turning them around in a tough spot. Sorensen brought down inside his own 18. Brooks Thompson gets it back into play. The final minutes winding down here at Subaru Park. Chicago with a 5-2 lead over Philly. Castillo breaks up play. Has only out wide. Tries to beat his defender. He's blocked. Plays back to Sanchez. Sanchez into the 18. And his pass is definitely read well. Hewlin settles to Rochester. Or a hell. Perpa. He has runner way out wide, lots of space. Taking on defender, looks to cross. He had a runner far post, and Fleming. He beat Castillo. He has to beat him again, but he has to play back now to Leonard. Fleming to Rochester. Galena trying to connect through the middle. Broken up by Philly. It looks like the foul is called on Chicago. 2 minutes of stoppage time here at Subaru Park in Chester.
Union 2 substitution leading the match, number 49, Luciano Sanchez. Entering the match, number 82, Francis Castillo. Substitution occurs in stoppage time of our second half.
Francis Castillo checking in now for Luciano Sanchez, who scored the first goal for the Philly Union in the first half. Chicago continuing to stay cool under pressure, playing with their possession, hitting the runners down the line. Like Gwenick. Brooks Thompson comes up to take control for the Union. Quick service then to Castillo. Olney on the ball. He has Sorensen out wide. Castillo. Time, he looks to send it in, and he plays it right into Miskovich. Miskovich taking his time as seconds wind down in stoppage time.
Ladies and gentlemen, your final
And there it is, the final whistle at Subaru Park. That is the game. Final score of 2-5 in favor of Chicago Fire 2. Tonight's man of the match is Victor Becerra of Chicago Fire and is presented by Adidas. Victor Becerra came in as a substitute and made his presence known. His first goal of the game, he was able to make a great overlapping run, beat his defender inside the box, and just slots it so nicely in the far low corner. He hasn't scored a goal since August 20th of 2022, but he got two tonight. A second one coming from a PK spot. Victor Becerra, your man of the match, presented by Adidas. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Marissa Pilla. Once again, our final scores: Philadelphia Union 2, Chicago Fire 5. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. I'm Marissa Pilla. Have a great night, everyone, and happy Father's Day.
This copyrighted broadcast of MLS Next Pro may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcasted without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.